I'm bringing on today is Jeremy Kenderson, which is the co-founder of ConvertNinja, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And he's also co-founder of Knows a Guy Fitness. And he's talking about the website that I use, blogging, and stuff. A few months ago, I would be one of the few helped test out this new CRM, and which is, believe, customer relationship management. Is that right?
You're breaking up. Is everybody else hearing her okay?
Oh.
Yep, you are breaking up.
It might knock me off. If it's probably because I didn't put back on Wi-Fi. Let me see if I can change it without knocking off. So.
Or we could just let Jeremy introduce himself.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to go based off of what I kind of heard you say. So I am the co-founder of ConvertNinja, which is a CRM email marketing system. I'm also the co-founder of Who Knows a Guy Fitness. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but Shauna uses that for her website and blogging platform that she's using to attract people into the business and customers and challengers. And I have been in the internet marketing world for about 8 years now. And my specialty is CRMs and email marketing. I've been doing that a long time and kind of excited that we created our own. So I'm excited to share that with you guys because I'm very, very passionate about it and how it can help. The feedback that we're getting so far is just people aren't slipping through the cracks. They don't have to think about who or what to connect with each day. It's just telling them what to do. So it takes that thought process out of it. At the same time, not forgetting about anyone. So a CRM, especially one that utilizes email marketing, is I like to think of it as like a two-part system. And the very first and most important thing is having your contacts in one centrally located place where all your notes from your past conversations are, so that the next time they pop up to tell you to reach out to them, you can see exactly what your conversation was in the past. So you have some type of sales intelligence when communicating with that person the next time. It creates a level of relatability, kind of like target marketing. It's relatable to that person. So when people first get started with it, it's really important to get their contacts uploaded into the system so that they can just get familiar with that day-to-day process and operation of following up with people. Because that follow-up is probably the most important part in any business, and it's probably the most forgot about or not done thing in every business. So I like to have people kind of master that first, and then move on to the second piece, which is creating your foundation for email marketing. And I'll just talk briefly about that because I'm really passionate about it. The foundation is having some type of targeted emails going out to people when they first connect with you. And they can connect with you at the grocery store, or they can connect with you on your website. Whatever it is, however they're coming into your system, those emails should speak specifically about how they came in touch with you, so that that first email is relatable, and then they are aware of who you are. So the next time they get an email, they know exactly why and who you are. Sorry, my computer just said, I'm going to restart your computer in 53 seconds. No. All right. Crisis averted. And that way you have a chance to speak to these people through emails so that they know who you are, what you do, and why you're the best. Because we're all the best at what we do because we're different than each other. And we all have our specialties that our clients relate to us about. The next part of that foundation is having a campaign that those people funnel into automatically if they don't make a purchase within those first emails. And those should kind of go along with Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, Jab, Right Hook, if you're familiar with that book, where you're just kind of reaching out to people, like, hey, how's it going? The next one's like, hey, how are your goals going? Are you need any help obtaining those? Or maybe it's just a simple quote, like, hey, I saw this quote today. I totally thought about you. Here's what it is. It's non-aggressive, non-salesy. You're not asking for anything in return. And then your right hook comes into place, which is maybe like, check out my free group or check out my challenge group, which would link to somewhere where they can like learn more about that. And it doesn't have to be that, but you have some type of call to action for them to engage with you. And then you have another jab, and then another right hook, and that kind of goes on and on and on. And if they don't join a group or they don't make a purchase, then they would funnel into a long-term nurture campaign, which for me is like about 8 emails over the course of a 12-month period. That's just purely educational. You're just giving them educational information. You're not asking them to do anything. And it's non-aggressive, non-salesy, so that in your industry especially, but pretty much any industry, people buy when they're ready to buy. In your case, people buy when they're ready to make a life-changing decision, a life-altering plan to what they do. And they don't do that overnight, and they do it when they want to, not when we're ready to sell them. So just having that whole infrastructure or foundation in place keeps you in front of them. You have all the touches and follow-up that you need for your business, but ultimately they're being educated and they're learning, and more importantly, they're remembering who you are. So that when they do make that decision, they know exactly how to get in touch with you. And that is huge. I worked for I was recruited to run the sales team for a marketing automation company in 2009. And I was intrigued because all the reports that I would pull up, I found that 50% of our deals each month came from those people in that long-term nurture campaign. It was somebody who showed interest at one point, and within that 12-month period, they came back to us. That's double the sales that most companies and people would never get because they didn't have the proper follow-up in place. So another piece of that funnel is, what do you do with somebody once they become a customer? Well, most people and most companies and industries kind of leave it at that. It's like, oh, they're a customer. That's perfectly fine and great. But if you have automation set up in place, you're then able to increase the amount of testimonials that you get, the amount of repeat business that you get, and the amount of referrals that you get, and hopefully even testimonials that you can use as well. So having those things in place automatically, most people don't ask for referrals. They feel uncomfortable. So especially if you have an automated system doing it, at least you're getting that ask and you're increasing the amount of referrals that you get. And referrals, by the way, close on average at like a 20% rate versus a 10% rate of most leads. So you're doubling your chances by getting referrals. So this automation, what I call setting up the machine, it's a machine. Leads come in and then they just kind of go through this thing and they pop out a customer or a team member. And all you have to do is spend a certain amount of time a day doing what the system's telling you to do. The beautiful thing is you're able to set up that system and tell it how much you want to do each day so that you're not overwhelmed. Especially for people working a full-time job, they can't sit there for 4 hours a day. So being able to set that stuff up and work for you is pretty important. I guess before I jump into sharing my screen and kind of showing you what it looks like, does anybody have any questions based off of that?
So it's kind of like Team Z and MailChimp combined. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
MailChimp on steroids, though.
Okay.
But yeah, that's exactly what it is. You have a 2-in-1 system that's working together based on what you're doing in your follow-up and what the prospect is doing with engaging back with you. So the system knows and then can trigger off these campaigns automatically for you.
Great. Yeah. Love to see it.
All right, let's do it.
I will say also you can connect it to your Google Mail, and the open rate is off the charts compared to using MailChimp or ActiveCampaign even, because trust me, I've tried all three.
Yes, and just for clarification, you can connect it to any email that you're using, whether it's Yahoo or MSN or AOL or whatever it is. You basically connect it to the CRM, and basically what happens is the way that we have it set up is the emails are actually coming from their server. So if you connect it to your Gmail account, the email is coming from Google's server, not mine, which means that it's being recognized as a personal email that's being sent. So your inbox or your client's inbox isn't going to recognize it as spam. They're not going to put it in promotions. It's going to actually show up in their inbox. And when it comes to email marketing, the first hurdle you have is getting your email into that person's inbox. Just because you have an automated system like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign doesn't mean that the email being sent is actually going to show up in their inbox. So you need to get it to show up in the inbox in order for them to read it. The second hurdle is getting them to open the email, which is something that I teach and train in workshops of helping you write those emails and subject lines that get people to actually open them. But once if you get past that second hurdle of them opening it, you got to have the trick of getting them to read it and engage enough to get them to click on something inside of that email. So thanks for that, Shauna. The other point too, like Shauna mentioned in one of our groups today, was one of her people mentioned that she didn't get the email. So because it was sent from Google's server, she was able to go into her Gmail account, look at her sent items, find the email, and then just hit forward and send it to her, and she got it. So it's pretty cool that it's connected to your actual inbox as well.
Can you do HTML emails?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I personally don't recommend them. And I get into kind of like strategy with emails in the group itself. The reason I don't recommend HTML emails is because, number one, they look branded, and don't get me wrong, they look beautiful. And the system that I worked for a long time ago, other systems, they have these beautiful email builders in them, and they're like a feature that they use to get people to buy their product. Like, look how beautiful you can make your emails. But branded emails, if you're anything like me, I'm very busy. So when I get up in the morning and I'm checking my emails, I kind of do a sift through, checking my boxes like, oh, I know that's not anything that I need. And so I never open those person's emails. And then the ones that I know are not like bogus, I'm reading the subject lines to determine whether I'm going to open them or not. And part of the issues that people have with the deliverability rates inside of those systems like MailChimp and ActiveCampaign is the algorithms that Gmail and Outlook and these other email providers have is checking how much HTML is inside of an email. Thus, the algorithm picks up on it and puts it into spam, or they don't even let it get delivered. So even though HTML emails look pretty, I recommend not using it to, number one, make sure your deliverability is good. But what I think is even more important than that, because our system doesn't affect the deliverability, is your emails look like you're personally writing them, which makes people want to open and read them, as opposed to they know a branded email from a company is going to be something that somebody's trying to sell them, if that makes sense. But yeah, you can definitely create the HTML code and put that right in the email.
Cool.
Sorry for rambling. I get all passionate about stuff. So what you're looking at right here is the dashboard. And I'll just kind of cover it from the beginning. You can search for people, their names, their email addresses right here if you want to find someone in particular. You can add a contact, which, by the way, you can put this on your phone. So if you are in a scenario where you're at the grocery store and you're hearing someone talk about, fitness or protein shakes, and you spark a conversation with them, you can actually just pull up your phone, click the little icon there, and this will pop up, and you can actually just click add contact with your finger and get the person's information right into your CRM right away, which is pretty cool. And then we got help and support, and I'll just click on that real quick to show you the help and support that we give you. So number one, I got these step-by-step videos to help you set up the system when you first purchase. So you're setting up the settings, step-by-step videos. I go pretty slow to try to make sure people, I'm not going too fast for people. What I hear most people like the most is that I do 4 Zoom calls a week, do them on Wednesdays and Fridays, and I jump on just like this, and I answer questions. I help people fix things. I help you wherever someone's stuck. I help unstuck them so that you have like a human being to work with, so you're not left on an island all by yourself. Plus you get me, and I'm pretty amazing. So I love helping people and make sure that their system is set up the best possible way to convert, because you can have a system set up, but if it's not converting for you, there's no reason to have it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then we have a support ticket. So you can always submit a support ticket, and I'll get to those as well. We also have a done for you service where some people are like, yeah, cleaning up my data is not really what I want to do. I'm too busy and my time is spent better doing other things. I have a one-time $49 fee to get your CRM set up for you. The only piece that we really don't do for that is your emails, the email portion, because we don't want you to focus on that when you first sign up anyway. We want your settings and CRM set up, your contacts imported, so you can actually use the system. So this dashboard kind of just gives you an overview of what you got going on. I got 23 tasks that I need to do today. 37 of them are overdue. I've been slacking. And then I completed 3 today, and I added 1 person to my system. And then I have your database broken up. So I have a total of 216 contacts in the system, and 68 of them are prospects, 95 of them are customers, and 32 of those are coaches. I think I'm doing pretty good with 32 coaches and only 68 prospects. These are all fake numbers, by the way. So just talking about that, in the settings, you can set up what's the max amount of tasks you want to have pop up on your dashboard each day. One of the biggest things with CRMs, and I've used a lot of them, are they just create too many tasks. And usually it's like based on this system that's auto-generating these tasks. And if you don't get to somebody today, 5 days from now, you have 2 tasks for the same person. So I set up the system that it only creates 1 task for 1 person at a time, and it won't create another task until that task has been completed. But number 2 is setting up how many you actually want to pop up on your dashboard each day. And then we got this nifty to-do list, which is kind of like what we based it off of, was like your power hour. So as you do the things within your power hour, you just check them off. And you can see down here on your daily progress reports that I completed 6 out of the 10 items on my to-do list, which that to-do list is completely customizable. One of the gals that was with us during the beta testing of this before we launched it, she every night before she goes to bed, she actually comes in and updates this with all the things that she needs to do tomorrow. So her to-do list for everything pretty much is just right in ConvertNinja. And then this is what I call the task action box. This allows you to get through your tasks in a timely manner without having to like go into a contact record and open it up. So this is the first contact record. I click on it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read my notes, see what is going on with this person so I know how to connect with them. Maybe the last thing I did was send an email. So this time I'm going to message them on Facebook. So I clicked a little Facebook Messenger icon. And then the person's message comes right up in Facebook. You don't have to search for them or anything. I can see the history of the conversation, and I can type in my message right here. And then I can just come back to ConvertNinja, say that I Facebook messaged the person, save the note. Sometimes you might change the stage. Maybe I got in contact with them. They've been connecting with me, and now I'm going to change their stage from forming with them to inviting them. So inviting them to purchase, or maybe they purchased and now I need to change them to a customer. Or maybe they're a challenger. I need to change them to a challenger, or inviting to coach, or maybe they signed up to be a coach, and that way they're segmented where they need to go. And that way it'll stop and start the campaigns based on what stage they're in. You can select an estimated close date. It's better to contact them in the morning, afternoon, or evening. And then all you have to do is complete the task. A few things that you can do is if this person's like really hot and you don't want them, remember how I told you that you can set a maximum amount of tasks a day? So if I set my max tasks to be 30, if I had 40 tasks to be scheduled, it's going to take those other 10 and set them up for tomorrow. But maybe Felicia's really hot and I don't want her to be pushed down the list. I can star her so that she becomes a priority and her tasks won't get slipped down that list. She'll pop up on the day she's supposed to pop up on. You can also skip the task. You could be like, oh, I saw Felicia at church last night. I don't need to form with her today. Skip. Or you could postpone. Like, I'd rather connect with her in 2 days. Otherwise, go ahead.
Can you customize the stages?
No. Not as of right now, you can't. But it is on my project board to make those customizable.
Okay.
I want to be able to not just make them customizable, but allow you to add and subtract sales stages as well.
Right, like Google Streak, where you can set up your own flow.
Totally. I had a hard time with the original coding, so because they're all based on like groups. So I have the system created to where I can now customize them, but now I have to be able to push that into the live server with everybody's app, and that's just going to take a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
But it is on my books to do that.
Cool.
Another thing on the books is on this postpone is having like an actual date that you can select a specific date to postpone it till. And then these little icons here, if I wanted to view their profile, so like let's say for example, it only shows how much information I have. So let's say for example, I don't have their Facebook information, then I would want to open up their profile, kind of do a little bit of research, find as much information on them as possible. And then I would come to edit right here, and I would come down and add as much information as possible, an email address so that I can email them, a phone number, their Facebook URL, Twitter, other social media. You put it in there, and then you just click save. And that way these things pop up. So if you're on I'll just go through it one by one. So you can view the contact record by clicking on that. You can also add a task. So you could say, oh, wait, I saw Susie and she said that her dog was having surgery on Thursday. I want to set a task to follow up about her dog's surgery on Thursday. And I'm going to say, yes, this has a priority. I don't want it to slip through the cracks. And I'm going to say, I'm going to follow up with her on Friday. Make sure her and her dog gets home on Thursday. And then on Thursday or on Friday, that task will pop up right here with the reminder to follow up with her about her dog. And then you can also email her right from there. And you just put in your subject line. We got some merge fields here, like you can merge their first name in. Merge fields are pretty much for the automated emails because it really doesn't take long to just type in, hey, Susie, check this out, whatever your email is, blah, 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 blah. And then you can send a test if you wanted to, but you can also copy yourself on it so that when you send it, it CCs you as well. And when you hit send, it'll actually put that email in the notes. This is my test account, so that didn't work. This is not a real email address. So, but anyway, when you do that, it's going to show up in the notes, your email message. So next time it pops up, you can see what you emailed that person. If you're on your phone, or I know this works on an Apple because an Apple has FaceTime on it, but you can click this on your phone or on a Mac, and you can actually call the person right from there if you have their phone number. You can go to their Facebook page, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then, of course, I already went over the daily reports. So you can see how you're doing on your goals, because you set up your own goals. I kind of like to go backwards, like, hey, I want to have one coach sign up a month. Great, that's my goal. How many people do I need to invite to the business? to obtain that goal? And then how many challengers do I want? How many customers do I want to bring on board? How many people do I need to invite in order to make those numbers happen? That's going to be my goal. How many people do I need to connect with or form with a day in order to make sure I hit that goal, to make sure I have enough people to invite? And how many new contacts do I need to add to the system to make sure I can form with that many people a day, type of a thing. Sorry, I feel like I'm losing my voice over here. But you set up your goals, and then you can see how well you're obtaining those goals. And this just kind of shows you a breakdown of what sales stage all your contacts are in. And then what's really neat too is you can set up accountability partners. So if you have people in your downline and they also have ConvertNinja, they can set you up as their accountability partner. And then you can actually see their goals, but you can see them on a daily, weekly, and monthly view. So you can see how they're doing for the week, how they're doing for the month, and you can have actual visibility into what your team is doing. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It said unstable internet connection. I was like, oh no. So this gives you visibility into your team and your team members of, are they adding people to the system each day, or how many are they adding for the week? How many are they adding for the month? Because if they're not doing these certain things, you know they're not going to reach their goals of adding team members or challengers or customers. So it's really good for me, coming from a sales background and sales management, that I would work with my sales team and my sales reps to see what they're actually doing, to know whether or not they're going to be able to hit their goals or not. So that's that. And then the campaigns are where all the email campaigns are. And what I've done is I've created the skeleton for all of these for you so that they get pushed right into your app. So you don't have to build it out. The foundation is already built for you. And then I do workshops around the email content. And one of the first things that I do is I give you some videos explaining marketing automation and email marketing, so you get the methodology for it. If you don't understand the methodology, it's going to be difficult to create campaigns that are actually going to be effective. And then I give you a download of a Google Doc to actually type out your emails. Because in one of the workshops, I go over specifically each campaign, what the messaging should be to help you know what to write. And then in the workshops, we actually get together and I actually go through people's emails, critique them, so you can see, you know, how I'm critiquing them, so that you can apply it to you. You can have me do yours, and I can actually critique your emails to make sure that the subject lines are good, the content is good, to increase open rates and conversions, which Shauna I've been working with for a while now, and she tells me all of her open rates and conversion rates and engagement rates are a lot higher than what she was able to do before, which is pretty cool. There's nothing better than hearing that what you're doing is helping people. So just on that, I guess there's others like systems that I've seen in the past, and myself working with other systems. There's these gurus that'll sell you their content, and I hate pre-written content because that person speaks way differently than me. So it comes across to my contact list as inauthentic. Usually that content is very salesy and aggressive, and people are like, oh, that's really pissing my people off. They don't like that stuff. So we decided not to pre-write content. We decided to help teach you how to write that content yourself so that you can have a better conversion rates, if that makes sense. The next thing that is being released, which looks like it should be done here shortly, is our email broadcasting tool. And that is, I'll just show you real quick. I got to go to my admin account to show you.
So with the email campaigns, is there a limit on the number of campaigns I can create?
No.
So I could have one email go out immediately, and then I could customize when the other emails go out?
Yep. And right now it's based on days. So if the first email goes out immediately, how many days does the next email go out? And then how many days does the next one go out?
And it looked like it was like up to 9 or 10.
You can add as many steps as you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then can I create, I mean, how do I associate buckets, for those emails?
Yeah. So, do you currently have one of our Who Knows a Guy Fitness websites?
No, but I have MailChimp where I can create
Okay.
lists. Right?
Yes.
I can create any
Like,
list I want.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have a customer lead email campaign that I devised, and then I also have a Success Club lead campaign. And then there's also, he didn't talk about the task campaign, where it's tasks that you do instead of emails, and you can put tasks within your email sequence too, where it's just like reminding you to invite them on Facebook to the Challenge Tracker app. That's one of my tasks that I have for my leads, and then the next one would be an email telling them all about Beachbody on Demand, and giving them a video that I created of a tour of the Beachbody on Demand. And then those kind of all are in my sequence in my campaign.
Okay, so I could set up essentially lists for anything I want, and then I could assign email campaigns to those lists, correct?
Yeah, it works a little bit different than MailChimp and Aweber and Constant Contact. They all work with lists to email sequences.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody comes into that list into an email sequence. Marketing automation systems like ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, GreenRope, and ConvertNinja, they all come into a campaign, and then inside the campaign has the sequences. So it's a little bit different terminology, but you're getting the same result. It's pretty much the exact same thing.
Okay.
I just totally geeked out on you on that. I'm sorry. Yes, it's pretty much the same thing, just worded a little bit different, and it works a little bit different. It's a lot cleaner than having people in certain lists. It's a lot better to have everybody inside your system that you can put in any sequence you want, kind of.
Okay.
It's easier.
Yeah.
So,
And I have
go ahead.
I have my lead list that I'm talking about, my lead campaigns. When I get to the end of them, I actually have them go into a different campaign that's for all my customers, because I'm constantly sending them, valuable blog posts that I write, or recipes, or things like that. So at the end of them, I have them their task is to go into the other campaign automatically.
Yes.
So that's how I connect them.
Yeah, that's great. So I numbered these so that it's kind of showing a funnel, right? I want basically when a lead comes in, it comes into this task campaign. So those are all the task reminders that are being created, so I don't let anybody slip through the cracks. And then if you add somebody, or they come in off your website and they come into this campaign automatically, then they're going to get these emails. And then at the end of this campaign, there's a step that automatically puts it into number 3 here. And if they don't become a customer by the end of number 3, then they automatically go into number 4. And at any point you mark them as a customer or a coach or lost, it's going to stop all these prospecting emails. Because when someone becomes a challenger or a customer or a coach, or they're lost, they said, don't ever contact me again, then you don't want them to get those prospecting emails. You want customers to get customer emails and coaches to get coach emails. But this is just the foundation. So you can build an infinite number of campaigns in here. And inside of each campaign, you can have an infinite amount of steps. You just click add task, that adds another step down at the bottom. You can move it anywhere in between there. Whoops, I did it wrong. You can move it anywhere in between that you want. And then you can basically edit it. So the email itself, it's basically, I name the email whatever, and then I have it going out X amount of days after the last step happens. And then you can write your email. You can see that it's got the merge field in there for their first name, So it'll say like Jeremy, blah, blah, blah for the subject line. And then you can write your email right in here. Now, when you make a change to a campaign, you just want to update it. And then that way, anybody that's in that campaign will get that new step as well. Anything else on that, Shauna?
To put it into perspective, the last month, something that Greg, that you shared with us, it was Brooke Lipoff's, that form where they had to fill it out, and then we give them back a customizable plan, inviting them to a challenge group. I had 2 cold leads straight from my like page. Click on a post that I had, filled out that. They come straight into my CRM, which I already spit them out. I had a campaign set up where it spit them out an email saying, thank you for this. I'll be back with you with your plan. So then I went and I, fixed up their little plan in Canva, sent it back to them. They both ordered a challenge pack. As a matter of fact, when I went to go put them into my VIP group, I wasn't even friends with them on Facebook. So I had to go back in and say, hey, can you be my friend so I can put you into the group? But I mean, they were completely cold leads coming straight in and got the email and signed up. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, that automation is definitely helpful.
Another thing that's coming out, I'm not sure when, but we're going to be able to set up a campaign to be sent to Facebook Messenger.
Yes. Thanks for bringing that up. So inside of a step can be multiple things, and you can have any of these inside of the campaign. Let me go to a step 2 because that has more. So basically the step can be anything. It could be a task reminder that'll show up on your dashboard like I showed you in the beginning, or you can send an email. You can pause a campaign. You can automatically change the sales stage based on a certain step from that. And then you can also assign it into another campaign. That's how I get it to go from one campaign to the next if they don't become a customer. What we're adding to this list is exactly what Shauna said, which is being able to set up an automated Facebook message to that person, which is going to be super helpful. And then the next thing we're going to do from that is setting up text messages. I was actually going to do text messages first, but then Facebook changed their settings with Facebook Messenger to allow automated Facebook messages. So now that that's a thing, I kind of tabled the text message because based on the feedback I got, an automated Facebook message would be more helpful for you guys than a text message at this point. Mm-hmm. Just trying to pick which one's more helpful and better. So
what about just setting up like an ad hoc email that I want to go out to all my customers? How would I do that?
Yes, that's what I was talking about. Let me come back over here real quick. So this is being rolled out in the next day or two, the next week or two. It's an email broadcast tool. So you're going to be able to set up like email templates. And Shauna, this is also where you're going to be where you can set up like scripts and those snippets that you were telling me about. But you can create that, and then you basically create your saved searches, which would be kind of like the list you were talking about earlier. You basically go into your contact report, and you can select anything, like anybody that was created within the last 6 months that is in the sales stage, new or forming, and whatever other criteria. And then you create those saved searches so you don't have to create that criteria every time. Just the next month that you want to send to that list, you would go to your saved searches, select the saved search, and then send that email out to them. And what the system does to prevent spamming and preventing your email from getting shut down, however many emails you're sending, it toggles them to send about 150 at a time. So that you don't get flagged for spam or have your email shut down.
Is there a limit on the amount of emails that you can send?
Not right now. Not right now. Anybody who comes in now is grandfathered in. I just don't have enough data yet to configure that. So ultimately, at some point, you have to create something that is going to limit the amount of contacts people have and the amount of emails they can send, because it just bogs down the server. So if somebody has 100,000 contacts, that could bog down the server, which means I have to create more servers, which is more cost. So right now, everybody's grandfathered in. There's no limitations whatsoever. But at some point, I'm going to have to break up the pricing based on contacts and emails.
So what is your pricing structure now?
$24.95 a month.
So it's not a tiered model?
No.
Because right now it's unlimited.
Yes.
Right.
And you'll stay that way if you're in there now. And there is a 30-day free trial too.
Correct. Yes. So if you go to ConvertNinja.com, you click on Get Started, there's a 30-day free trial right there. And during that checkout process, you're just going to select Beachbody, and that way it creates the Beachbody version for you.
I know I've had active campaign, and I every day I've been trying to get all my campaigns moved over, and I'm like 15 people away from hitting $50, which is 500 people. So every day I go in there and take out people that bounce, or today I moved a whole list over. So, but yeah, it'd be great not have to have a limit.
Yeah, that can definitely become a pain.
Yeah, that's why I have like 4 MailChimps, so I could put 2,000 in each one.
In each one. Oh, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. And then just one last thing, I guess, if you do have one of our websites, I don't know how many people do or whatnot, but you basically you can connect them. A very simple process. You create an API key. I like to create one for each form, and then you're able to just connect the form directly to ConvertNinja. And when you create the API key, you can actually tell it which campaigns you want it to go into. Like, I want it to go in this task campaign and this email campaign, so that right when they fill out a form on your website, it comes in here, the stuff goes off automatically. Any other questions? Did I miss anything, Shauna? Or I think I might have over-explained some stuff, probably made it a little bit more confusing, but it really is not, especially once you play with it for a few days.
Yeah, definitely seems very cool.
Awesome. Cool. Well, if you have any questions, I'm sure Shauna can get you connected with me. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you guys.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Should I jump off now? You want me to jump off?
It's up to you.
I don't know if you guys were going to continue your meeting. I don't want to interrupt, but I'll be more than happy to stay on here so you can see my pretty little face.
Does anybody have any questions? I guess not.
All right. Is there a bundle option for those who also use Who Knows a Guy's site? That is a very good question, Brian. And no, my price point is so small that there is no special bundling price. But there will be.
What's the cost for the website?
$29.95. And that's a website, blog. The most important part probably is the education that you get to do attraction marketing and internet marketing and social media marketing and things like that. Besides just the site, which comes with hosting and maintenance and updates for free. Got a few other services that we do to make those sites awesome for you. But
And
Sean's been go ahead.
on that site, does it come with your domain, or you have to have your own?
You have to have your own domain, and so we recommend using the promo code that GoDaddy has, because you can usually buy your domain for $1 for the first year, and then we just connect that domain to the website.
Okay.
We do that once your site is set up. We call that launching the website.
Okay, and another question on your ConvertNinja, you said you have Zoom calls in case you're lost twice a week? Times a week, right?
I got, as of right now, I'm doing Wednesdays at 3 and 10 p.m. Eastern, which I just recently changed because there's a few people on the West Coast that were like, I'm at work still. Can you help me out? I was like, yes, I can help you out. I'll do whatever I can to help you out. And then on Fridays at 2 and 7 p.m. Eastern.
2 and 7. All right. 7 sounds for me. All right. I appreciate all your tips and information. It's a lot, but I'll be watching the recording and then see where it goes from there. I appreciate all your tips and information.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thank you for listening.
No.
All right.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
I had one question. You said you were doing this, you started doing it at 10 p.m. on Wednesdays?
10 p.m. I do a 3 p.m. and a 10 p.m. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on. Let me share my screen again.
Oh, okay.
I thought I was sharing it. I pulled it up on my screen. So right here, I got Wednesdays at 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Fridays, I do 2 and 7 p.m. Eastern.
I must have missed the 10 p.m. Eastern time pop-up. Okay,
No
cool.
worries. Well, that's
Plus,
a good go ahead.
We have a group too, and we ask questions and help each other and tag him in it too. So
Forgot about that. That's like the ongoing, continuous ConvertNinja group that people have questions and I answer. This one, someone had a question. I did a video real quick so that everybody could see the video of how to do that. The beautiful part is a lot of people end up answering questions like Shauna before I even get to it, which is pretty cool. That you can get an answer and a reply fairly quickly that way. And then some people end up private messaging me too. They're like, help. And I do the best I can to get to that in a timely manner. I usually get to my Facebook messages quicker than I do the group. But it's nice to be in that. And then some people inside the group created a group inside that group specifically around emails and how to write them, because some people it's easy for them and then other people get writer's block and they're like, I don't know what to do. So we created this group inside of that where everybody's collaborating on writing those emails. And then I think we do it every other week. I jump on, I think it's
Thursdays. I think it's
Thursdays?
Thursdays.
I guess I don't have it set up on my calendar. When did we do the last one? Oh yeah, the last one was last Thursday. Yep. Looks like we're doing it every Thursday at 5 p.m. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. We do those calls, and that's where I go through and critique and help you with your email writing. I just realized I do a lot over here, so. Can we get an email for you if we have questions prior to signing up? Yes. There you go. And you're probably better off friending me and messaging me in Facebook because I'll be honest with you, my emails are pretty stacked. So the time frame of me getting to those is about once a day, where I'm in Facebook Messenger a little bit earlier than that. So I'll put my Facebook URL in there too.
That's pretty funny because when we started working together before we even launched the CRM, you were making me send you emails because you weren't on Facebook enough.
I'm a lot older than I look, everybody. So I resist new technology just like most people do. So yeah, I was not a big fan of Facebook and communicating in that. And then you end up doing something and you realize, oh, this is an easier way. Why didn't I do this before? That's so funny you bring that up. You could talk to Curtis about how many times that's happened to him to get me to use new systems and stuff. That's funny. Well, it does work. I do get to people way faster now that they're able to communicate with me through that, right?
It's a great tool.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate your guys' time and the invite. That's really awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming, and we'll wrap up.
All right. You guys have a great one.
All right.